Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a GUI kind of application in Tkinter in Python, which will find out the IP address of the domain name which you enter. So basically you have seen these online tools out there which will be able to find out the IP address of a particular domain name such as google.com or any sort of domain name which is available on the internet. So let me just type that domain IP address finder. So you have seen these services. So we will be building a desktop application in Python, which will be doing the same thing. So this is the service here. You can see you can enter any sort of domain name. So basically if I enter here google.com, so click on find IP. So you will see the IP address it has found out. It is IP address is 142.250.217.78. So this is our application, guys. You can see that Tkinter application. So it's a GUI kind of application, graphical user interface. So if I type the same domain name, click on check IP, now you will see that 142.250.193.78. So this is the same IP address which the Google is using. Let me type my website codingsiksha.com. Click on check IP. So you will see 3.6.118.31. So if I enter this domain name here, try to click find IP. So you will now see 3.234.104. You can see that. So there are various IP address of the same domain name. So that's why you can see some slight difference, but it is doing the same task that it is doing. So we will try to build this using pure Python, guys. I have given all the source code in the video description. So this is the full blog post. So if you want to follow along with the instructions, you can download all the source code by going to the video description link. So now let's get started by building this application. So first of all, you need to be having Python installed on your machine. And for this, we will be using the socket module of Python. So import socket. So inside the socket module, guys, there is a method which is guest host by name. And here you need to provide the domain name. And then basically you can print this out. You can print the IP, that's it. So this is 3 lines of code which is required here to make this console application. So basically if I type here python app.py, it will tell me exactly the IP address, which is 142.250.193.78. So this is that much easy, guys. Now we need to convert this into a Tkinter application. So it's very easy. Just import Tkinter as TK, and also we need to import from socket. We need to import this method which is get host by name. And after that, guys, we need to initialize our library which is tk.tk. After that, we can set our geometry which is 400 by 400. This is width and height of the screen. So after that, we can display this inside the window here. So we can first of all give the title which is domain IP checker. So then we can configure that is the background color. So there is a background color option here. So simply we can provide the hexadecimal code here, which is 283.4a. So we can now just display the window here, tk.main loop. So if I execute now, you will now see there is a window which is displayed on the screen, and it has got the background color of gray. So after this, guys, we need to have some widgets on the screen. So just after this geometry here, we will display a label on the screen which is tk.label, and here we need to pass the tk reference. And so here you can display some text on the screen, so author name. So the background property, you can set any background of your choice. So this is the foreground, which is the text color. So you can see that this is the background color and this is the foreground color. So after this you can display this on the screen. So now to display this, it is very easy. We will display it inside grid structure. So row is equal to 0 and column span is equal to 4. We will take the input string from the user, tk.string variable. So this will be holding the domain name. So whichever domain name that you pass inside the Tkinter application, so this will be holding inside input string. And now to display this on the screen, if I now execute this application, you will now see the author name is displaying here, which is, this is a simple label. And now we need to simply have a button here, website name. So we will be taking this as we will be simply saying that enter domain, and once again it will have this background and foreground. So it is not mandatory that you need to give these options, but styling purposes it is very much good that you style your application. After that we will have a simple input box. So we will simply have tk.entry widget. So we will initialize our text variable that we have declared right here at the top. Text variable will be equal to input string. So this is, we have declared here, you will see input string. So we just need to initialize it, input string. So now we need to add this. So website name dot grid, and this will be displayed on the first row. And also we need to display input entry. This will also be displayed on first row, and the column will be 1. So now if you refresh your application, you will now see there is a enter domain option, and this input field here you can enter something on the screen. In the similar fashion, guys, we will have a output message where we will display the result to the user. So again we can provide these background color and foreground color. So you can change these colors accordingly. Just change the hexadecimal values. After that we can display them. Output message dot grid. So row is equal to 3 and column span is 4. So then we will have a simple button, guys, button widget tk, and the text will be simply check IP. So here we will be given a command, guys. So whenever you hit the button, this command will be executed. Basically it will be a function, lambda function. So the name of the function will be IP finder, so which will actually pass the domain name and it will carry out the process of finding the IP address. So output message we will pass, also we will pass the input string which it entered by the user, that's it. So now we need to display this button on the screen. So we can simply say button grid, row is equal to 2 and the column span is equal to 4. So now guys we need to write this function which is very simple, which is definition IP finder. So it will now have these two variables which will be passed as argument, output message and input string. So we will surround this code in try catch block. So IP address will be equal to, so we will use this method get host by name, which is coming from the socket module. So here we will get the value, which is input string dot value. So input string dot get. So then we will display this output message dot config. So text will be equal to the IP address of domain. So then we will concatenate this result. So input value input string dot get is, so the IP address will be this, which is coming here, IP address, that's it. So this is the output message which is displayed, guys. So now we need to also write our except block as well, except exception. So basically if any sort of exception take place, then we can also write something on the screen that text please enter correct domain. That's it. So this is our application, guys, Tkinter application, which is complete. So if I run this, so you will now see if I enter wrong domain name, you will see please enter correct domain. So we need to enter correct domain name, which is codingshiksha.com. So IP address of domain coding Shiksha is this one. You can see that. So in this way, guys, you can build out this IP address checker of domain name in Python using socket library in Tkinter. So thanks so much for watching this video. All the source code will be there inside video description, and I will be seeing you in the next video. Until then, thank you very much.